Hello, my name is Gordon Hilsman. I'm a certified educator in the ACPE and the NACC. As I was considering whether to begin supervising a student interested in becoming a supervisor, I read the descriptions of the competencies required to begin the process and found some of them rather abstruse. So I made this brief video hoping that I could clarify and simplify them. Near the beginning of the process, you will be meeting with a small committee made up of your CPE supervisor, a member of the certification commission who is committing to stay with your process until it ends, and a theory education specialist who is committing to help you develop a viable theory of supervision. They'll be looking for you to demonstrate during the meeting and through the writing that you've submitted to them 6 different competencies, looking at you in 6 different ways as you meet with them. Those 6 are your professionalism, your quality of spiritual care, your level of integration as it's appropriate to this level of education, your ability to do theory writing so that you can develop a theory of supervision, your knowledge and attitude about research being used in the clinical ministry movement, and your potential for leadership and collaboration in the ACPE. First, there is your professionalism. How professional are you? They'll use 5 criteria to assess that. They'll be watching your self-awareness and your self-reflective ability as they meet with you. They'll be discerning about your ability to acknowledge what you're feeling, since spiritual care is such a feeling level practice. Can you identify and acknowledge your emotions and express them in a way that's relative to how you, the intensity of what you're actually feeling and what's going on around you? They'll want to see that you know what's in the relevant codes of ethics, that you have some ethical judgment to show you what might be going on around you that may be unethical, and they'll hear you speak about how important it is to remain consistently ethical in spiritual care and supervisory practice. A few definitions. A professional, in general parlance, is considered to be one who's shown to be consistently effective enough at practicing a discipline dedicated to the good of society in order to be regularly paid for doing it. The 6 major basic emotions that are considered to be pretty universal in humanity are anger, sadness, joy, hurt, fear, and some form of regret. Wondering about the quality of your spiritual caregiving, since you will be involved extensively in helping other people improve the quality of theirs. They'll use some windows in doing that. They like to hear you talk about ways of assessing spiritual needs and stages of human development. They want to know how you use 3 different things to describe the strengths and weaknesses of people in difficult situations. Those 3 are beliefs, awareness of different cultures, and behavioral science concepts. extremely important is, can you intuitively reflect on the big picture of a person's life and current situation? That ability is highly significant in your writing of quality chart notes and in writing supervisory evaluations of students. Do you currently contribute spiritual perspective to plans of care in the medical record in order to actually make a contribution to interdisciplinary teams? Do you use diverse methods in assessing, intervening, care planning, and evaluating outcomes in your care of patients? And can you, right there, discuss and critique different methods of charting spiritual care work? They'll also be looking at your level of integration relative to your practice of supervision as it is already developing. To do that, they'll want to hear they may want to hear how you have addressed all the outcomes of Level 2 CPE, how cogently you can talk about your own religious spiritual heritage and how it has been augmented and revised over time as a framework to support your life and your spiritual care practice, and how well you can reflect on things both spontaneously in relationship and quietly alone. In order to assess your integration relative to the budding supervisory practice you've already begun, they'll be interested in how richly you can describe how the clinical method of learning works, how specifically you can talk about how you benefited from CPE, and how articulate you are about process education, the various components of a CPE program, and the structure that effectively combines them. Regarding your theoretical competence, they'll assess that by how well you conceptualize about what you see in human behavior and how clearly you can talk about the ways in which small groups such as CPE and other systems such as interdisciplinary teams and hospital units challenge and shape people. They may be interested in your awareness of the limitations of theory as well as the value of theory. Regarding research, they'll want to see how cogently you talk about the value and the limitations of research as you've seen it influence your own spiritual care of people. And finally, they'll be making their best guess about your potential as a leader and collaborator, both, given what you've done so far and what promise you might have to make a contribution to the field of clinical ministry. So they'll be looking at how articulate you are about the function and value of leadership and collaboration in contributing to the essential work of an organization or movement, and that'll include how you understand the content of the ACB standards and how to further use them when you need to, your attitudes about the value and limitations of the ACP organization in promoting the clinical ministry movement, and how you value accreditation for maintenance and development of educational quality. And that's all I have. My best to you all in embarking on this new path. Contact me at ghilsman@gmail.com for that phone number, or on my website www.spiritualclinician.com.